It's your girl Nah. We here live with Unplugged DMV. Let's get it.
Welcome to another episode of Unplugged DMV. I am Tania Danae, and today we have the pleasure of having a very dope artist, my girl Nah. So first we're going to start off with some icebreaker questions. So I would like, for now, we all would like for you to give us one song, a heartbreak song, and sing about 10 seconds of it off of your album or one of your previous albums.
Okay. In the darkest skies is when we really shine. This is when we find the brightest light that lives inside. I befriend the moon cause it controls my tide. Deeper than the sea is a wave within my mind. Refuge in my heart cause it's bigger than the sky. I don't know. That's what I got.
Okay, so we got... I just love it. Your voice gives me chills.
Thank you.
Okay, so, all right, so that was a heartbreak one, right? Or that was a motivational one?
That was a motivational
one.
Yeah.
So let's now do like a heartbreak one. When I'm feeling down, sing me a song.
I'm so lonely and I can never get it right. That shit hurt cause I think all the time. It'll get better when it only gets hurt up at night. Then I lie and say I will be fine.
Yeah.
I mess up my own words. What the hell?
No one, we don't.
Am I allowed to
No. That's you. That is your song, and we love it. Thank you. You want me to say something?
Yeah.
No. Okay. We're not going. We're gonna move right along. Okay. So now let's tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started with music, and a little bit about your background.
So if y'all don't know, I'm from Annapolis, Maryland. I started with music, first off, writing. I was always a writer, but I wasn't really confident, like, in my voice. Mm-hmm. But I started, like, singing it. I just always wrote it. I probably started recording music officially in, like, 2017. And then after that, it was just pretty much
right.
a rolling ball.
Did you come from a background of, like, music industry? Like, do your family sing? Do you have family members? Or it's just you the star of the family, type of thing?
My family, they do their own thing. My mom likes to sing, but she never like took it to the next level. I would say I'm pretty much, my sister sings too, my older sister, but I probably was like the only one that really went to like a studio, recorded, put out a tape, did things officially.
Okay, that's dope. So you've been singing, you said, well, taking it serious since 2017. So did you... I'm sorry. Damn, y'all. I lost my train of thought with it. Okay, sorry. So what do you consider your genre of music? So I know you're a singer, an artist, but what do you consider yourself?
I kind of like doing like R&B, hip hop / like a mixture of the both. But I also like doing pop, house music. I like doing like alternative, just all kinds, all genres for real. Anything that sounds good to me, I'm gonna try to figure something out.
Yeah, super dope, super dope. And so do you feel like you are on the R&B, like soul train, because your music basically feeds everyone's soul?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely like the type of music that is tangible, more tangible, but I mean, I like every genre.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're good at what you do, you can like touch every section
right,
or genre of music.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your creative process. What's your zone in your vibe when you're writing?
Well, it's always like in the middle of the night. Sometimes it can be triggered by like an experience, or sometimes it'll just be like a random, like, I have to finish this. I don't always finish a song when I start it, but I usually listen to a beat first. I go on YouTube or listen to beats that people send me, listen to them, and then like try to make a hook first. And if I can make a hook, then I'll go from there. Otherwise, I would just come back to it, or just see how many I can do at one time.
Right. And how do you like pinpoint basically like the artists that you want to feature, on your music, on your songs and things like that? I know it's very strategic and, you know, the
Yeah.
process with it. But give us some pointers and tips.
I like artists who can tell a story without literally saying what the story is. Like, I like metaphorical rappers, people, or just artists, singers that can paint a picture visually without saying dog, cat. They can, like, you know, say a cat or a dog without, you know what I mean? So I like that type of vibe. I also like people who are very, like, energetic as far as, like, enunciation and just energy-wise. Like, they can change it based off of the vibe of the music. Like, if the music is mellow, they can, like, you know, be mellow and then also still make a statement. If it's, like, a hype song, they can... I like people who are very, like, versatile.
Yeah, and can feed off of your energy, basically.
Yeah.
So have you found that, you know, collabing with different artists and stuff, would you rather that, or do you just like to do your songs alone? Or
if I do a song and I'm like, dang, this person, I do have a go-to. Like, I like working with J Cash. He was on the first episode.
Yeah, I saw he's on, like, a lot of a
Yeah.
couple songs.
We do really well in the studio. We understand, like, musically. It's a couple of females I would like to work with, but we haven't officially, like, been in the same, like, setting. But I don't know. I feel like on all of my projects, J Cash is, like, a go-to. He's always, like, that person that fills in somewhere, you know. So
yeah, and so because you do have experience with other artists, being, you know, working together and things, have you ever had anyone give you any good advice, you know, within the music industry, or give you any tips as far as, like, coming up and being an artist?
Yeah, just do it. Like, a lot of times we get, like, hesitant, we're scared, or we just very self-conscious about ourselves, regardless if you're doing music or just anything. And it's like, you just gotta just do it. Like, just do it.
Yeah. So I know learning, we continue learning every day in our passions and things like that. So have you ever taken any vocal lessons, or would you consider, like, vocal coaches just to help you progress?
Well, I actually asked for that for Christmas.
Really?
So I definitely want to, like, get into the performance, because I'm very hermit, you know. But I've definitely taken, like, musical instrument lessons, so that has helped a lot with tuning my voice. I play the piano. I used to play the violin, stuff like that. So the piano really helped me. I actually taught myself how to play it, like, by myself, and then Mom was like, let's just do lessons, because you struggling. But yeah, the piano definitely helped a lot with tuning my voice and just getting a vibe of how to, like, place it.
Oh, that's dope. That's super dope. I didn't know that about it.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, okay. So tell me about a time, like, maybe one of your best performances. Have you had a lot of performances since you started in the music industry?
Not as much as I would like to, because I've just been scared. But right before the pandemic started, back last year in, like, February, there was a Black Monopoly showcase, and I performed. And I felt like that was a point where I was really like, I can do this. Like, I was comfortable, you know. I didn't really care if people were staring at me or whatever. And it was just easy to communicate with the crowd and just do it. You know, I just did it. So.
So you're definitely one of those artists that kind of, you just rather put out your music and, you know,
absolutely,
things like that. So if you could collab, you know, with some major artists, things like that, who would it be?
I would love to work with T-Pain.
Really?
Yes.
That is not one I hear often.
He's so talented.
Yes.
Like, just like, I mean, there's a lot of artists I would love to work with, but T-Pain is definitely one of them, because he's just good with producing, vocals, and being artistic with your voice. Like, you know, he uses the auto-tune and stuff.
Right.
And just how he articulates his music. I like Usher. Janae Aiko is a good one too.
Oh, I love her.
I love Janae.
I love her. I could definitely see y'all vibing out together.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would love to work with, like, rappers too. So it's just a matter of when.
So what is something you enjoy the most about being an artist?
It's a output. Like, instead of holding like a lot in. It's a way to artistically just
release, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of over the situation or whatever I was talking about after, you know, I complete the song.
Is that how you used to cope, like, when you were younger, you know, with anything
Absolutely.
you were battling with?
I wrote a freaking book when I was younger.
Did you?
Like, I just talking about, like, how I felt. It was called Through the Eyes of a Child.
See, we have a very multi-talented person here today, and I'm loving it.
I probably wrote maybe, like, 3 chapters, but, you know, I was a kid. It's probably, like, 8.
Since we're talking about the coping and everything, let's talk about the healing of it all.
Okay.
I know throughout my research, I see that you have recently, I believe, been on a healing journey.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that process. What were a few things that you felt like you needed to heal from in order to progress, you know, within your life?
Well, it wasn't until I lost D-Dave, actually, like somebody that was really close to me and made me see, like, we can't just be out here wasting time or just, like, not utilizing our gifts. I don't know, it just showed me a lot on the spiritual side of, like, how you can connect with things without necessarily being constricted to a certain, like, level of expectations. So, yeah, I just pretty much, it took losing somebody close. And I mean, he wasn't the only person I lost, but, like, it was just kind of out of nowhere, you know, like, and it made me really take a look differently at life and, like, my perspective of, like, just doing what you got to do to live in your purpose.
Right. So let's get more in depth with that as far as what are some things that you changed, you know, changed around. Whether people that you, like, you know, had to eliminate out of your life, there's certain, you know, habits that you had to change, you know, were there anything like that?
I would say I'm more outspoken, and I don't really care about, like, appealing. I try not to, because sometimes I still do care what people think of me, but I kind of just, like, don't want to fit a particular category anymore. Like, I just want to be fluent in life and just be free for real. Like, I don't like, you know, trying to make myself look a certain way to appeal to a certain crowd. So it's just like, I'm gonna just do me. Yeah. And it's been, you know, pretty cool.
That's good. Yeah, I'm big on the healing. So speaking of other things, let's talk about other things outside of your music. Within your healing process, you also recently started doing readings and tarot readings. So tell us about that process and, you know, how that was getting started with all of that.
Well, okay, I believe that in every religion there's some form of truth, but I feel like because it's passed down through human, it's been altered, or, you know, people perceive their stories based on their own lives, so that might be influencing different religions. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the good stuff out of each religion and just kind of, like, do the right thing in life. And as far as tarot readings, it just tells the story. I really do like looking into astrology and just, like, where the planets are, because I feel like nature is, like, a big representation of life.
Right.
And we are an extension of nature.
I agree.
Sometimes we think because we have a lot of mental capacity, we don't realize how connected we are supposed to be to nature. So I just kind of go based off of astrology, and then the tarot just reads the story.
Have you noticed, like, people are open to it, you know
what,
once you started it? Or
I think people are starting to be a lot more open to it, because it's kind of like, not saying that I'm hopping on a bandwagon, but it's kind of trendy now. To be
it is
spiritual,
most definitely,
or whatever. Or just people are just curious about other things. But I recently went to a pop-up shop where I did readings in person, and a lot of people were kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that. But you know, you just have to ignorance is bliss. So when people don't know about something, they're scared about it. That's just a natural pattern in history.
Right.
So you just got to talk to people about it and just explain what it is.
That's good. Have you ever participated in any? We're gonna get back to the music set, but have you ever participated in any like music competitions? Like, would you ever do anything like American Idol or?
You know what? I actually tried out for American Idol before.
Did you? I did too.
Really? So when I tried out, it was like Annapolis. It was at the mall, Annapolis Mall.
Yeah.
It was like the last city, and like when I tell you, like it was this lady in a bat costume. Like, you know how they always choose those people that are just freaking crazy? Like, I think they were kind of doing that.
That's going to get the viewers going.
Because she got the ticket. I'm like, all right, I see what y'all doing.
Yeah.
But, it was a lot of talented people there, like, that was singing and stuff. So, I mean, it was a good experience, but I definitely would do it again.
Yeah. I think you should. I think you must. I did it just because I was like, I wanted to be that person.
Right.
The random one that can't sing, but I'm going to go try.
It's a good experience to just say you did it, So.
Yeah. So how do you balance, I don't know if you do your music, full time and, you're just pursuing your passion. But if not, how do you balance, your work life, the artist and things like that?
I just kind of go with the flow. Like, I handle my priorities because I'm in school right now. But as far as like my music and my gifts, I don't like to force it because sometimes it doesn't come out like authentic. So, I mean, I probably try to go to the studio like once or twice a month, consistently. So when it comes to time to drop something, I'm not like rushing everything at once. But I do need to I do think that I need to do it more, because I'm kind of slow. I'll start something, come back to it, like I just be going
It's
with
just
the
you
flow.
Perfecting your craft, that's all.
Getting the feel for it,
Yeah, okay, that's good. So what inspired your last project? What was it? 317? That's Reloaded.
Yeah.
So tell us about what inspired that, the name of it, the Reloaded. Interested to see where did the Reloaded come from. Is it like you coming back harder than before, or what?
Pretty much. I had dropped a tape called 317 on Spinrilla like a couple of years ago, back in 2017, and it was like, I mean, it was okay, but I felt like, and the Reloaded tape took me maybe like 2 or 3 years to really finalize and put out. It just seemed like every time I tried to put it out, it was roadblocks and just random stuff happening.
Right.
But like this year, it was smooth sailing. So it's just me coming back, and it's kind of miscellaneous. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it tells a story from start to finish on like a creative process.
Right.
But that's pretty much where it came from,
Yeah. Very, very dope project. Everybody, please go get it and go listen to it, because we can listen to it on iTunes,
all platforms,
Apple Music,
YouTube, Amazon,
please go listen to
Spotify.
it. Yep, it's a really dope project. So tell everybody what's next for you.
Well, I definitely want to drop something again on my birthday, which is March 17th, by the way. I don't know exactly what I'm going to call it, though, but I definitely have a lot of things in the chamber. Like, should I tell y'all, like, the names I've been thinking about?
If that's something that you want to disclose. If not,
I'm gonna
give them a teaser. Yeah.
I'm going to save it. But it's probably going to be, like, influenced by just astrology, maybe.
Okay.
Kind of.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we thank you so much. I can't wait till you drop your next project.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you all for tuning in to Unplugged DMV with Nah. I'm going to go get a personal reading done, okay? And then
Y'all
coming up, Nah will be performing the box, okay?
Yep.